somebody, and he showed me a picture of the Pope. That's what I'd see. And you're showing me a picture of Ronald Reagan. He's showing me a picture of the Pope, just to confuse me. He had deafness, numbness. He gave me a temperature. He gave me weakness in the arms, chest pain, seizures, headaches, weakness in the legs, weakness all over, cramps in the legs, stomach cramps, speech slurred, and touch disability. Because I used to have no feeling in my fingers. He's the one that caused that. Because every time he ever got in trouble, they used to smack his hands or cut his hands, which I got cuts in my fingers. So he decided he didn't want no feeling in his fingers, so he just did that.
Okay. Okay, how about this last chart here? This is that's Dustin. Can we go through Dustin already?
Dustin was the one that just had the. I think that's somebody else's chart, isn't it? Carl's chart.
It's Carl's chart?
Yeah.
Oh, Carl. Okay, yeah, through Carl.
I went through Carl.
Okay, you already went through Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is Carl here, and this is Carl.
So glad I get all this over here.
Okay, that's a master chart. What about this? Can we go through this?
Bradley? Yeah.
We went through this earlier.
Yeah, we just went through it a minute ago. So I got all that.
Throw this up on the camera, because I don't think we have it on the camera. Do we have this on the camera?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we did either, yeah. Here's Bradley. We went through Bradley. This is Paul, Dustin, Alex, Zach, Sean, Ryan, and then Bradley. And then Bradley breaks down into Carl and Brad. Well, wait a minute. Bradley here breaks down into Sylvester, Roger. And that's your 6 personalities. Okay, I got it. Here's
I'm
Bradley
getting
6.
Hold the master chart up real quick, because I got a perfect. Okay.
That's your 6 personalities of Bradley. Did you explain them?
On Bradley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Alex behind his finger. That's the one I couldn't see.
Alex right there?
Yeah. Okay. Then
Okay.
I can move it back and I can
Okay, we explained all the
refocus.
charts now.
This isn't like the America's Most Wanted crew that came in. They had their own cameraman. But this is going pretty good.
I think it's going very well.
I just gotta get the chair centered.
Now it says here you had a total of 199 altars minus only Wesley. This is in the document that you wrote up, right?
Yeah.
You want to explain that?
Oh. Altogether there were 199 altars minus only Wesley. Not counting myself, for the most part only about 30 contained a lot of memories. And only 20 were memories of abusive, outside of abusive situations. That means that there's only 20 of them that didn't go through abuse. Or times outside of abuse situations, or times of being manipulated by others to do their bidding. The altars could be classified the following ways. First, many were caused by sexual abuse. These ones have most of the incidents fully intact. They also have a few who are very mature and who in themselves turn from the abuse. Some were stuck as children, and almost none knew they were part of myself. And I do in fact have charts for each group of altars as they were classified by myself. The Class A altars, which I'm going to hold way out there so that maybe the camera can pick it up, maybe not, I don't know. But
You want to explain that?
yeah. Class A altars were ones that were living day-to-day lives. They don't include the controller personalities, which a controller is somebody who's in control of making sure the right personality comes out at the right time for whatever activity is taking place. These personalities would go to the store, they'd go to school, they would study German, or they'd do your normal everyday things that I could even do. Class B altars, these were altars that were mostly present while I was a child. Most of them have never even fully grown up. So many most of them are still before they integrated stuff, were still children. Some, most have several memories, and normally the activities are only with a certain individual, with one person. That's it. That's their memories. Whenever they're with one person, that was their whole responsibility, was being with that person, with whatever they did. That was their purpose. Class C alters. These alters are only partial personalities. They have several memories but are not full. They were used for one direct purpose only. They also contain alters. Also contains alters that were very organized at keeping track of memories, such as computer files. Class D alters are those that were split off from other alters who were higher functioning alters that dealt with day-to-day life, but they couldn't handle some of the activities that even took place with them, so they split off alters of themselves. These alters are have very disturbed memories. Since none of them contain full memories, some have partial memories shared by other alters. And Class E alters are control or lead alters who are either in control of other alters or have triggers to set off their own abilities or that don't make no sense. Their own abilities or inabilities. Oh, inabilities. Okay. Then Class F alters are personally split off from other alters. These hold very small. I mean, they could hold 5 minutes of time, and that's all that they would ever hold. Some of them were involved with Satanism. Some had triggers, and their sole responsibility was as messengers inwardly to make sure that others were out at the proper time. Or they were alters who became fully internal prior to the discovery of MPD. Some of them actually got integrated before they
Excuse me. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to point out that that you, Paul, have listed all your personalities by alters.
Yeah.
And I'd like to put these on camera.
Okay, I'll...
So you won't run the camera, and I'll identify each group.
Okay.
This is Class A, and those are all the personalities. Those are all the personalities, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Let me get this all on.
Tell me when to turn the page.
I'm just gonna... Okay, you can turn it.
Okay, these are your Class B alters. And these are all, we're all on the charts, right?
Yeah. I got them all listed.
You got them? Should I turn the page?
Hang on, I gotta go back up on the other side still. If I didn't have this mounted, I'd take it off.
Okay.
Okay, you can go.
And this next group are Class C alters. Take it off.
Second. Yeah, I gotta take it off. I can do this better without it on here. And it doesn't take but a second to
Okay.
put back. Be careful since this thing is well, come on, focus. There it goes. Okay, go on.
And the next are Class D alters, all of whom are listed on the chart. You got some empty space here, 31 through 35. Does that mean anything?
No, I just didn't put anybody's name in there because there was nobody there.
You just, okay.
I want to move your finger down at the bottom. I'm missing Sylvester. Okay, you can go on to the next one.
Next is Class E alters.
Come on, focus a little bit better.
Can you read these on camera?
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe we ought to go through the charts that we had and do this, Tom, don't you? Because you couldn't read them.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, when we get through with this.
Yeah.
E, and this is F coming up.
Alright, going a little bit further. Okay, there we go. I'm not doing like they do on TV where they give you 2 seconds to look at it. It's like a flyby view of it. Okay, that should be it, I
That's
think.
it. Now let's go through this. Hang in there. Let me go through these charts.
Okay, let me get this. Oh, there's a strap. What do you know?
You ready?
I'm gonna get this cord over here so I can.
Really read them. That's the master chart.
Okay, let me get this. Dustin's entire group.
Tell me when you're ready.
Paul Jr.'s group.
Huh?
I'm just looking at the different groups at it, one at a time. Okay.
Okay. Now, next I'm going to show you Bradley's group. And on the master chart, that'll be here through to Bradley. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There they go.
Okay, you can go on. What?
Okay, the next I'm going to show you will be Carl's group, and this is the master chart. It'll be Dustin through to Carl and his 21 personalities.
Okay.
Next will be Brant's group. It'll be Dustin through to Brant. Excuse me.
Okay, you can go on.
Okay, and next will be Paul Jr.'s group. Let's look at the chart here.
Let's see, Paul Jr.
It'll be right here. This is the satanic group.
Let me zoom in on that. Get it focused. Focus.
That's the master. You're looking at the master now. You ready to go to the next?
Hang on, I gotta get it.
Huh? You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now, here it is with the 36 personalities.
Just like your eyeball, it needs to focus.
Yeah. Tell me when to go.
There you can go.
Okay, this is Todd's group. This is the master chart here. This is, we're going to go Paul through here to Todd.
Put Todd in the center, there.
Here's Todd.
It's like, where's Todd? Focus.
Here's Todd. Here's Johnny.
Where's Johnny? Oops, I didn't mean to touch it. Okay, there's Todd's group. All the way down to the Henry Gall that wants to be different and not focus very good.
Todd's group has 10 personalities, according to the master chart. Ready to go to the master chart now?
Yep.
And this is Misha?
Micah.
Micah. M-I-C-H-A, is it?
M-I-C-H, yeah.
H-E. M-I-C-H-E.
No, it's
H-A?
H-A, yeah.
Okay, Micah. 18 personalities. That's worth This is a master chart. Now we're going over here to Micah.
Whoa, back up.
Go back to the master.
No, I'm talking about, I had to back up the camera. It's a little too close for me. And I gotta go forward a little bit so I can read the names. Okay.
And the next will be Dane's group. And on the master chart, it'll be down to here.
I gotta find the paper again. Where is it?
Right here.
Yeah.
This is the master chart. Okay, now here it is. It's Dane's group. Dane has 7 personalities.
I can get all of them on a close-up so I can get it. I see their names real good. Dane. Okay.
Okay, and next is Kristen. That's this one right here with 8 personalities. Come through the chart to Kristen. That's the master. Here's the detailed chart of Kristen. Kristen's 8 personalities.
Okay.
And next will be Mark Anderson, which will be over here. That was created because of your experiences with Harold Anderson, right? And here, this is the master chart. Now here's the detailed chart.
Oh. Okay, 1 minute. Let me get this back up so I can. Come on, should be able to see all the names. Okay.
The next is Zacharias Knight.
Zacharias Knight.
Zacharias Knight, and that's this group here. That's 21 personalities. This is the master chart. Here's the detailed chart.
Okay.
Okay, now, next and the last is Christian Bonacci. That's this right here with 33 personalities. This is a master chart. Right
See,
there.
I gotta get it focused. Okay.
And here is the detailed chart.
Boo, back up.
Me?
No, I'm talking about
Talking yourself.
the camera. I need to back it up a little bit because it's just a big, you know, I gotta go in and go across it. Otherwise I'll never get them all on the same shot. Oh, come on, go in a little bit closer. Maybe it'll focus a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Back up. Okay.
Ready?
Yep, that's it.
That's it. Okay, put the camera back on the tripod and we'll get on with the next step.
Ah.
Don't turn it off, I'll leave it on.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Fortunately, I've got
I don't want to turn it off because they might think something might be said.
I'm sure I picked it up, but I can't help it.
Huh?
I'm blowing my nose.
Oh well. You gotta blow, you gotta blow.
Okay.
Come on, tighten up. It doesn't spin around on me.
Do we hold it? Can we hold it?
Oh, I got it.
You sure?
It's still going. Yeah, it's just I thought it spun in and it didn't. Oh, no wonder. Forgot to put the bolt up.
Want me to help you? I'll be glad to come over there if you need me. Don't get that shy. Let me hold it.
There, we got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can get away with this. Turn this so it doesn't allow the camera to just flop back and forth there. Almost have a little bit of excitement. It's like,
Okay,
I just got attacked by a vicious dog. Trying to get it focused on the chair again, but that's easy because I know where it goes. Whoops. This one needs to come up just a hair. Okay.
Okay. Now, next thing I want to do, I want to go more into detail on these, but before we do, I want to clarify a point. When we were recharging the battery, I asked you about a statement that you made earlier on tape that you'd not been interviewed by the FBI, never met anyone from the FBI, and never even seen an FBI agent.
Yeah.
Now, when I first interviewed you in prison here last fall, you said that you had met a number of FBI agents, and I want to clarify that discrepancy. Can you explain that?
Yeah, what I meant by not meeting any FBI agents, I meant involved with the Franklin, anything dealing with the Franklin case, dealing with Johnny Gosh. I'd never met anybody dealing specifically with this case. I had met FBI agents prior to being arrested and stuff with different things I was involved with and stuff, but I had never met anybody dealing with Gosh or with Franklin. So not any related matters with the Franklin case or with Johnny Gosh. So I've never met anybody with that.
What you're saying is you've never had a formal interview?
No, I've never been
with the FBI? No. Since the Franklin Credit Union case broke, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what
okay. So I want to clarify that, because you told me in the last interview that I had with you that you had met 7 or 8 agents, I believe.
Yeah.
And I want to get into that later. Okay? Now, what I want to do next is I'd like to go through, we're not through with the chart, by the way, Paul. I'd like to go through the chart, starting with Mark Anderson, and explain each one of these. Why Mark Anderson? You said something earlier. Is there any further clarification of that? Because you.
With Mark Anderson, it was mainly dealing with. He started when I was about. I think it was before I was 6.
Harold Anderson. You're talking about.
The personality started.
Okay.
Before I was 6 and stuff, as just Mark, and never had a last name. And years later, he was the personality that dealt mainly with Harold Anderson, and that's where he picked up the name Anderson for his last name.
What is years later?
About 1978, I believe.
Well, how old were you then?
I was about probably 10, 11 years old.
Okay, and who is Harold Anderson?
He was the ex-editor of the Omaha World Herald.
Publisher, I think he was.
Well, yeah.
He was a publisher.
Yeah, he was also the editor.
Was he before that? Okay, before he was published, he was an editor.
Yeah, and I know that happened in. I'm just double checking. 78, yeah, because I met him through a guy named Walter Carlson. And that was at some.
Who's Danny Walter Carlson?
Huh?
Who's Carlson?
Walter Carlson.
Walter? Okay, who is that?
He was one of the first guys that really started abusing me on a regular basis. And he started in about 76. I met him at Hanscom Park. My family was having some kind of family reunion or something, and the guy that was there, and I was kind of off to the side and stuff, and he talked to me and said, you know, I might like to come over and play some of his nephews or something sometime. And so I agreed to and stuff, and sometimes he started, at first it just started off, we went over saw stuff and we watched cartoon stuff, then it started into showing regular movies, and then he started showing movies with men and women having sex, and movies of men and boys having sex and stuff, so kind of worked out. And there's other guys like a guy named Ken Bruner, and
who's he?
He's a guy that used to be with Carlson and stuff at parties and stuff at Carlson's house, or at Joe Burke's house. He was also another guy that was involved with them.
And what were their occupations?
I have no idea what their occupations were. I never, I was a kid. I didn't know.
Carlson's, Bruner's, or Burke's occupations? You never did know it?
I never knew because I was just a kid and I never, they didn't volunteer any information.
You haven't learned since then, have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, keep going.
But they were involved with a whole group of guys who, again, they were molesting other kids and They did the same thing to me, and
Does that have to do with Mark Anderson's personality? Those
yeah,
are the
that had something to do with it
those are the
because
sub-personalities under
yeah,
Mark Anderson.
a lot of the personalities were abused by those guys and stuff, and along with the other personalities that are in this general area. But it was through them that I met Harold Anderson at a party and stuff, and that's when I started to meet with him.
That's when you got into the big time, huh?
No, kind of. Because after that, I met some other people.
Who else did you meet through Harold Anderson and these people?
Through them, I really didn't meet too many people. I met a guy named Robert Andreessen, who was a big guy that lived out in Ralston, and used to kind of be real threatening if you told that he would hurt you or something.
Who was he? Who's Andreessen professionally?
Professionally, I'm not sure what he was. All I know is a big guy. I never got to know what anybody really did for a living. You know, I never even knew what Harold Anderson did, except for one time I was told he ran a paper. That's all I knew, is that he ran a paper. I didn't even know which paper.
You subsequently learned who he is, though, huh?
Yeah, a lot of them I learned since, and a lot of them I haven't.
Okay, how about Zachary Knight? That personality, how'd that develop?
Zachary Knight developed about the same time as Mark. He was one of the controllers and stuff, and he developed through sexual abuse, and he decided he couldn't handle it too much, but he was also the one that dabbled into Satanism. So.
Okay, who's he? Professionally.
Who?
Zachary Knight.
I don't even know. I mean, the last name, I've been trying to figure out where that's come from for a long time.
Okay, who else did he introduce you to?
What is it? That's nobody.
What's that chart you're looking at there?
It's the chart of the guys who abuse me and stuff. It just has their names, approximate sexual activity with each person, with that person, the year I met them, or about that time and stuff.
Okay, we look
from what town they're from, and then involved with what group of people, like if they're involved with Nambler or Carlson or Bear or...
Okay, we can go over that chart too then later on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he introduced me to... Through Zachary, I got involved with like Emilio and stuff, and...
Emilio, you want to explain who Emilio is?
Emilio's the guy who abducted Johnny Gosh and kidnaps kids for a living. That's, I've come to learn, was his occupation, I guess.
Okay, who else did he introduce you
I don't really know. There's just a lot of people he introduced me to.
to? You didn't know their names, in other words?
Well, yeah, I know their names, but all personalities are involved with a lot of the same people, so...
Well, I see. So there's overlap. How about Christian Bonacci?
He was the first one that was created.
Okay.
And
how old were you when that happened?
about 3. He was created at first because of the sexual abuse that the guy from that was in the Air Force was letting one of his friends do. And he was also created to start handling the tough things, and when he couldn't handle it, he created a new alter that was a controller, which was Zach. Then he created Mark. Then they got together and they created the other ones, and they got together and created all the rest of them. So
Christian and Dane.
Christian's the one that was also a Christian personality that became a Christian before.
K-R-I-S-T-I-N, Christian, not Christian.
Christian, yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about Christian, yeah.
Okay. So, Kristen, K-R-I-S-T-E-N, I-N, was an outgrowth through Christian.
Yeah, Christian and Zach.
Well, how did Kristen, K-R-I-S-T-E-N, I-N, and Dane develop?
They developed when some of these personalities up here started developing consciences, so they tried to push
Oh,
it
I see. So
back even
Christian,
more.
Bonacci, Zachary Knight, and Mark Anderson personalities developed a conscience. So then you had pushed them into another personality.
They pushed in another personality that would...
And that would be Kristen, K-R-I-S-T-I,
Yeah.
and Dane, right?
Ones that were more willing to do what these people wanted because they started saying that that was wrong and they didn't want anything to do with it.
Now, this is a group up to 6 years of age.
No, those are all ages.
So these are all ages? Okay.
Yeah, those ones are all ages.
And this is under the, these all the...
I mean, there's some in there that were like 18, 19 years old. So.
Uh-huh. Well, then going over to this next group, Todd and Micah. Mikey,
Micah.
M-I-C-H-E?
Well, it's C-H-A.
Okay, Micah.
Micah.
Isn't real clear on the chart. What about them? They were developed how?
Well, they were developed to deal with specific persons, like with Alan Bear, and one dealt with Larry King, and
Okay,
they just dealt with the different.
Explain who Alan Bear is.
Alan Bear is the I guess he's the heir to the J.L. Brandeis and Sons. He also owns a lot of realty and stuff out in all over the country, and he's got some buildings out in San Francisco. Some that got damaged in the earthquake in '89, and I don't know that because I was in the house and he was talking about it at the same time, talking about his buildings that got damaged.
In '89?
Yeah, the earthquake.
You were in the house since '89?
Well, one of the personalities had gone back and had seen him and stuff, and was at his apartment one time. He was talking to one of his.
Before you went to jail?
He had a female attorney. Yeah, it was 3 days before. Wednesday, I got arrested. Actually, Saturday morning at about 2:30. And a couple of days before that, I told him to go F himself, and because he wanted me to get some of my young friends to go to his parties, and I told him no way, and to go F himself, and I left.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me I'd be sorry.
That's the last time you saw Alan Bear?
When I was there at the apartment in Twin Towers, he was talking to one of his, I guess she was an attorney out in, I believe she was out in California, out in San Francisco, where the earthquake hit. And they were talking about a building that had been damaged by the earthquake, and the elevator didn't work, and the people that were complaining and stuff, which would be really neat to check out, because, how would I know you had a building out there, and how would I know that it was damaged by the earthquake if it indeed wasn't?
What kind of a building was it, do you know?
I don't know. It was an apartment.
Apartment? Okay.
It was a building that people lived in because they were talking about some of the tenants were complaining because they...
Do you remember which personality visited his house?
Yeah, Mikey.
Oh, Mikey did, okay. And
he's under Christian.
Well, no, Mikey isn't under Christian. He's over here.
No, that's Micah.
Micah.
Mikey.
Oh, Mikey.
He's not a controller. He's just a personality, so
Okay.
he's in that group there.
Okay, how about Mike and Todd?
Mike and Todd stored a lot of information. I remember. And they just stored information about certain people that were involved with specific people. I mean, they dealt with all kinds of different things. Jimmy Escobedo was the one that was involved with Emilio, that he was scared to death of saying anything to anybody. Personalized under him and stuff were the ones that remembered specific details about places. Nathan Price was named after, I forgot who the guy was. A guy named Jerry or something like that, Price. He dealt with that. And Eric and Benjamin Howard dealt with a minister that was a gay minister from Colorado. Who was also in charge of a gay church, which...
Well, we're in Colorado.
Near Colorado Springs or something. It was one of the MCC churches they had, Metropolitan Community Churches. And then Sean and Dimitri Bear were dealing with Alan Bear. That was it. Todd's personalities dealt with higher class people. I'm saying that Alan Bear is a higher class, but they dealt with a little bit higher class people.
I mean, you're talking about politically affluent, influential people.
Yeah. But I don't know, I mean, like this Gall, I know he was a senator or something, or congressman or something, Gall.
How do you spell it?
G-A-L-L. And a guy named Weiss and a guy named William, which I got Prince William, that's because the guy called him called me Prince William. Always called me Prince. So he just took the guy's last name and used it too.
Okay, keep going. You want to go to the next group, which would be your satanic group?
Okay, and then you got Paul Jr., who used to be called Demaya. Demaya was a demonic name in the first place, and that's why he decided to change his name when he got saved.
Uh-huh.
And personalized under him were the group that we talked about that had the 36 in it, 6 groups of 6,
Right.
which is the satanic
Right.
number. Then you got Wesley, who used to be called Confusion. He used to confuse all the information about everything, and he didn't really have personalized under him. He just had confused thoughts under everything. Then there's Life, who used to be called Death. He's Life now because he was one that went from the mode where I'm going to kill myself all the time to, hey, it ain't so bad. I can handle this. I've been through worse.
Uh-huh.
So he kind of went from death to life. And then there's Kelly, who dealt with being locked up all the time, and he just kind of disappeared the last 4 months of being in prison. Actually, last year he disappeared. He wasn't even around after I went to the parole board and they yanked my parole. No need for him.
So we pretty well dealt with this other group, I think, in detail,
Yeah.
didn't we? The Dustin group.
And,
Okay, get your chart out there that you had that shows that everybody you've been involved with and the dates and the towns and so forth.
Okay.
That's yours.
Yeah.
That's yours, this is mine.
Okay. Is that the same thing as this, or?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You said this is...
That's right.
Well, that's America's Most Wanted. I'm going to go over that
Yeah.
in a little while. I want to go through this next section.
Okay, let's see.
You mentioned Larry King on just a minute ago. You want to explain to who Larry King is here?
Larry King used to be in charge of the Franklin Credit Union, I believe. I think that's what it was called. He was the thief. I don't know what he was.
Well, he was charged with embezzlement and fraud, I think.
Stole $38 million and gets 15 years.
Yeah, and
Poor old Jim Baker steals $4 million and gets 45 years, which they reduced it all the way down to 12 now or something.
I think, yeah.
Praise God. Well,
Okay, these are charts and records that you get. Now, let me ask this. How can I be sure that these are documented dates and times and so forth? Did you have a calendar or a diary or what?
I had one diary I had 7 diaries. All 6 of them disappeared. The 7th one, a couple of months were ripped out of it. It had names. The one that had 2 months ripped out of it had names, phone numbers, addresses of all these guys and stuff in it. Because they had a front part and the thing in it.
How'd you reconstruct it?
I used my mind. Part of this was pretty simple because I remembered when stuff happened, so I just went off of the memories. I had a little calendar for something, but I don't know what's that.
You showed me a calendar, year-by-year calendar not too long ago.
Yeah, year-by-year calendar, something that I created since I've been out too.
Well, since you've been out, you didn't have that at the time.
No, that's from the internal memories and stuff. But there is something in there that was off of a regular calendar that most people would probably look like junk, but it went off of a real calendar that I've got downstairs. I know exactly where it's at if I don't find it in here. But yeah, here we go. See if I can find the back side of it. That's definitely not the back side, but it'll do. What I'll have to do, I got the other side of it because I had stuff written on the other side of the chart, the calendar bit. This is one of the things I kept. I had to refocus it because I missed some of it on that side, but it's a little calendar that's about actually like this big, and I just blew it up. Enlarged it so that you could see everything that's written on it. The other side had some writing on it, stuff about Monarch and stuff, but that's not the other side, that's just...
Who stole your diary?
When I got arrested, my mother remembers that my diaries were all sitting on my dresser.
Okay.
She had seen them, all the books and stuff I had on my dresser. And when the police arrested me the night I got arrested, they all disappeared. And they took a
Please have
bunch of
your
stuff.
diary.
They took a bunch of stuff. They took some videotapes, which they had fun watching John Jackson Power Team and
What was on the
ministers and stuff.
videotapes?
Just ministers and stuff like that.
Sex acts?
No.
Do you have any porno films there?
I didn't have any pornography at all. I've never gotten into pornography, and I never.
These other people were into pornography, though. You told me before.
Well, yeah, they were into it, but I didn't get into it.
Okay, so the police have your diary?
Well, I probably burned them by now. But
What did you ask for them back?
they said they didn't have them. They gave one diary back, and that's when they were 2 months out of it. And that's because that diary my grandmother gave to them, so they knew that somebody in our family knew that they had them. The other ones, when I got arrested, the night I got arrested, they took the videotapes, they took pictures, like what you've seen already. That's the picture they took. You know, some of them were like from 1980 when I was 13 years old. Some of them were before that.
Which picture? No.
All of my photographs that.
Oh, there's
of the kids
pictures.
and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But all those
Oh, your
photographs
friends.
were
Photographs of your friends.
photographs of my friends when I was growing up and stuff.
They
and
took
the police-
those?
They took all of them. They took the videotapes, which didn't have anything on them, anything bad stuff. They took the diaries, which they never said they took them. They took a antique movie camera that didn't even work, as far as I know, because we just got it the day before that, so nobody knew if it worked or not. An antique projector, an antique screen, and all this stuff. Nobody knows if it worked or not because it never got a chance to be messed with. And they took it was like an old little tiny package like that didn't have film in it. They asked me what they were going to find in the film. I said, well, probably nothing. There's nuts and bolts in the casing because I took the film out. I figured it's been sitting there for over 20 years. The film ain't no good. You know, because especially if it's been exposed to light several times. And
Right.
so they took all that. They gave all of it back except for the diaries.
Let her get it. She got it.
Okay, good.
And then did you say they denied that they ever had a diary?
They denied they ever had the diaries. The only one they gave back was the one my grandmother gave to them. That's because they knew it.
What did you have in the diaries?
I had written down. There it goes. It's on.
So,
Yeah.
okay, we're back. Handled my phone call. Nothing serious. It's a flood in Los Angeles. And this is a list that you compiled from your various records in your diary, and from memory that were in your records and diary. And the police took your diary, never returned it, claim they don't have it.
Yes, all
Now,
6 of them.
on this list, this is the what? What's that first column?
That's the number of times that I was with that person sexually or whatever.
The number of times that he's with each of these people sexually.
Some of them I didn't write because it's
So many times.
just too.
I can tell. Because I recognize his first names. Second column, the name of the individual. Third column is the year. The fourth column is the town. And fifth column is identifying the group that each of them was involved with. So why don't you just go right down the list.
Okay.
Just start right over here. Just go right across. And say who each one of those people is.
Okay. Walter Carlson was one of the first guys who sexually abused me.
How old were you?
I was, probably about 8, 9.
Okay, and who is he?
All I know is he was the first guy who started sexually abusing me.
Okay.
He got me involved with some other guys. That went on from about 76 till 1983. He was from Omaha. He was involved with his own. Second guy is on the list is Peter Citron.
You don't have any numbers there. Why? Because these
Well, those are because there were so many times that I
Okay.
can't put it down.
Peter Citron.
Peter Citron, I met him in 1979. I was at a Penny Park with some of my friends, and actually I was with my family and stuff, and he was with some of my friends who introduced me to him, and later on we went to some movies, and then he began having sexual activity with me.
How old were you?
I was probably 12, right.
And he's an adult, of course.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
with the Omaha World Herald.
Yeah, he was with them. He was on TV as a critic. He did food critics. He did movie critics. He did just about everything
Okay.
there was in a critic. And I knew him from Omaha, and then he went to San Francisco for about 3 years, from about 81 to about 84. And I used to take trips out there once in a while. I met him on my own. I also seen him at parties with Alan Bear. Now the third person is a guy named Father Stan, or O'Malley. I don't know what his name is for sure. All I know is it's something like Malley or O'Malley. And he's from Omaha, and I met him in 1976 before I met before I met Walter Carlson, and it kind of went on once in a while.
How old were you?
I was 8.
And what are those asterisks next to those 3 names for?
That they were some of the main ones.
Okay.
I don't really know what the asterisk is. I forgot.
You don't have any numbers as to the number of times there, so there were so many.
Yeah.
That in that column, so there were so many you couldn't count them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. The next person is Alan Bear, and I met him in 1979. It was August 4th or 5th because it was the first weekend right after my birthday. Because my birthday's on August 3rd, and it was right after that. And I would have been turning 12 years old that year, so it was right after I turned 12 years old that I met him. And I'd met him before at a couple of parties with some guy named John Phillips, who was also on this list further down. In fact, on the next page, in fact. I was with him 2 times, but I think it was with him anyway. But anyway, this guy took me to a couple of parties and stuff where he introduced me to this guy, but at the time he never had anything to do with me until I was down on the run with my friends Mike and met him that way. The next column is from town. I got that his address is 6724 Davenport. He had several phone numbers I remember. It was like 341-4777 and 5. I can't read it on here. 556-7898. I think that's his home number that I remember calling several times. And that is 596. I can't read it. I don't think it's 596. I don't think that's an Omaha number. 556 is it. And next guy is Robert Andreessen. The only reason I don't have numbers next to Robert Andreessen is because
you don't have numbers
3 times. I don't have numbers by it, but it only happened 3 times with him. He was from Main Street in Ralston. That's where he lived at. And that went on a couple of times from about 77 to, what was it, 77 up till 83 or 84, I'm not sure. So I got away from Carlson's group. The next guy I got on here, his name is Sean or John Dell. It's actually Barks Dell was his name. He did something out of Boys Town. Met him in about 80, and he was involved with Alan Bear and Larry King and that whole group.
Alan Bear is the heir to the Brandeis fortune.
Yeah, Brandeis.
Yeah, we've already explained that. How many times on him?
The
first call?
About 10 to 20 times.
Okay.
He was also the one that took me to parties and stuff. He was a black guy. Hanging around with Larry King a lot. Next guy is a guy named Dwayne or Dave, and I was with him about 5 to 10 times from about the same period, 80 to 85. I'm not sure about his name at all, but I know he operated a pool out at Boys Town. He was one of the pool operators. He cleaned it.
Oh, cleaned it, okay.
And was involved with the parties with Alan Bear and stuff. The next guy, 5 to 10 times, which actually should be updated to 50 to 100 times, although he won't ever admit it, but I met this guy in prison even, seen him in there.
Oh, was in prison just last...
Yeah.
Really?
He was kind of stuff, and he recognized me, and the funny thing was, I always thought, well, how did he recognize me and know all about me and stuff, and come up and start talking about the Franklin case stuff. If all of a sudden I didn't have nothing to do with him, and he wouldn't admit, well, I don't remember you, as he kept saying, but it was Chuck Miller, and I knew him from about 81 till 83, and then I got away from him. And
is that the guy in prison?
Yeah, he lived on 30th in California in Omaha. And he was kind of involved by himself. He was kind of in a group all by himself. He didn't have a big group. I met him down on downtown area and stuff, and some of his other kids that he was messing around with.
Did these guys pay you to do this?
Bear did, and the people at his parties usually paid, like Barksdale and Dave and stuff usually paid me, and Chuck Miller, he took me places. They used to take a lot of trips, and that's easy to check on. They used to take a lot of kids out of the country and down to several different places that he took us to.
Okay, keep going. What did they pay you?
Huh?
What did they pay you?
It depended. I was embarrassed. Sometimes I'd get drugs, sometimes I'd get money. I'd get anywhere from 20 to several $1,000s for depending on what I had to do and how long I had to be there or whatever. It's like I went to some parties, some got paid $5,000 just for going to it.
You
letting
did?
people do whatever they wanted to me.
Where would that be?
Well, when we took trips to California or took trips out of state, even some trips that we took to other towns like Des Moines and stuff, we'd get $1,000 or something. It was nothing.
5,000 on some occasions?
Yeah, 5,000 on some occasions. Like out in California, we went out there. We had to go on to Sunset Boulevard, which is near Beverly Hills, which you got. Beverly Hills is where the ladies hang out on.
Right.
Beverly Hills Boulevard, and then you got Sunset. What was it? Sunset Strip, or is it? What was the name of that street?
Santa Monica.
Yeah, Santa Monica Boulevard. Why was I thinking Sunset Strip? Santa
Well,
Monica
Sunset,
Boulevard.
you got Sunset Boulevard and then Santa Monica Boulevard.
Santa Monica Boulevard is where the teenage male prostitutes hang out at.
Right.
And that's where they used to send us, and we'd get kids for parties and stuff there. And we'd take them back to the Beverly Hills Wilshire Hotel or to the other one that's right there too, that they have another hotel that sells.
Bel Air?
Yeah.
Bel Air Country Club. Bel Air Hotel, Beverly Hills.
And then I remember one because when you walk in the door, there's like it's like you look through it on one side and you got something on the other side. It's like a big glass thing that's right on the thing, and you look through it and it kind of makes everybody else distort on the other side.
Yeah.
We used to have fun with that one. And when we go in there and stuff, sometimes the hotel manager of some of the restaurants, or not restaurants, but the hotels would make you kind of, when we went in there and stuff, they made sure that we were dressed up nice.
Yeah.
And we were always there with our uncle or with our parents on vacation. We were, especially at the Beverly Wilshire, the Regency.
Yeah.
You had to make sure that you were there on, because it's like they were high class. They had a restaurant there, but it was a high class hotel, and they made sure that you. Most of them were like that. They made sure that you were, and they knew what was going on.
Sure they did.
When you're there with Larry King, and he has a 2-floor plaza, and he's got 90 kids going into his parties and stuff, and 20 adults, and
Would there be that many? 90 kids and 20 adults?
Probably about 20 kids and 10 adults, or sometimes it'd be 30 or 40 adults and 40 or 50 kids. And some of the places we went, they did that.
They're male and female kids, or?
They had males and females, yeah. Some black, some white. They sent me out on the Santa Monica Boulevard a lot of times, to tell people, there's a party there and stuff, and you show up, you'll get, $500 just for showing up, which is more than they make out there on the streets anyway.
Yeah.
Usually they make 10, 15, 20 bucks, 50 bucks.
Does anybody worry about AIDS?
At that time, no. That was in the early 80s when that first started, because it's before AIDS came out. With, it's like they'd make $500, and then that was a lot of money for that kind of business. But
Keep going down the list.
the next one is Rusty Nelson. He was a photographer. There's actually 2 Rusty Nelsons. I got another Nelson down here below. But
How many times for Rusty? First call.
5 to 10 times. I was from 81 to 86. He was a photographer. His address is 5035 Bedford Ave. Phone number is 556-6239. And he was from Barron King. And his wife is named Rusty and Dolores. Starts with a D. They used to be foster parents, which kind of fits right in with everything that they were doing. And he did photography for Larry King. He stayed there for a while and stuff. And when they were foster parents, the ironic thing was they weren't even married yet. They got married after they had the foster kids and everything. And yet they were still allowed to be foster parents. And okay, so the next person is William Thiessen, and it is the guy who owned the pizza place, and I had debate in my own head and stuff, and I wasn't 1,000% sure if it was or not, but now I am.
How many times?
10 to 20.
In Omaha?
From 79 to 85, yeah.
In Omaha?
In Omaha. And he was involved with Citron and Anderson and that group with Bear and stuff. Next guy I got on here should be actually 200 to 300 times that I've been with him, but I put on here and stuff 20 to 30, but that was how many trips I took out to New York and Boston, which was where he was from, is David Thorstad. And you're here from 78 to 86, and that was New York and Boston. I was involved with NAMBLA.
He was an NAMBLA?
Yeah, he was the founder of NAMBLA.
Oh, yeah. David Thorstad?
Yeah. David, was it David, I know his middle name, but hold on. Tell something right now. I don't remember it.
How did Thorstad tie into these other people?
He got tied in with Carlson because he was associated with some people at Carlson doing stuff. Some of Carlson's group was getting involved with NAMBLA because of what they did and what Carlson and them were doing. They agreed with it, so they had contacts with them and stuff. And David Thorstad came in and talked to him and stuff, and took a liking.
He came in and talked to him on a lecture, or just talked to him?
He talked to them socially.
Uh-huh.
No, a lecture. He talked to them socially and stuff. And he came in and stuff, and I was at the party that he was at and stuff, and a couple other. He had some kid that he brought with him, and he took a liking to me and this other kid that was there at the parties and stuff that Carlson had and stuff, and he told him that, he talked to us and stuff, and he decided that he wanted us to come out to his place and stuff once in a while.
Where did he live?
Out in New York or Boston. I'm not sure if he lived in New York or Boston. I know every time I went there, we went to either place. He had two places that he stayed at.
What does he do for a living?
He was a freelance photographer or journalist or something like that. I know he took a lot of pictures. And I met him before NAMBLA ever formed. He was part of the Boise Committee, which was the Boston Boise Committee. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It was the group that NAMBLA came out of. I mean, I was involved with that before that and stuff. They got me in touch with a bunch of people all over the country. I mean, that's how I got involved with all these different guys. They provide the names to the kids. They would never provide kids' names to the adults until they got really into it so much, in fact, that, it's like David Thorstad and stuff. They weren't dummies. I mean, it's like the only way they'd start providing names of kids to other men and stuff is if they knew that this guy was having sexual relations with children and stuff on a regular basis and was very active in it. Otherwise, they wouldn't, because they were afraid that it might be an undercover thing. They don't want anybody to know that they actually do that kind of service for people.
You want to explain what NAMBLA is?
North American Man-Boy Love Association.
And you know anything about the organization?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
The organization is, they try and make look like they're doing things for kids' rights and stuff, children's rights and stuff, to make it. But what they're actually trying to do is destroy laws that prohibit men and children from having sexual relations with each other. That's their main and only purpose, really. They try and say, well, they're against all these things, and they got these things that state all their cause and stuff. They have a magazine out that's called The Bulletin. They send it out every month, I guess. I don't receive it, so I think it's still being put out by them, and they kind of promote things that try and make it easier, or not easier, but try and pervert the rest of the world by saying, well, there's nothing wrong with sex between men and boys, or men and children, or women and children and stuff, and it's just...
Women in there too?
Yeah, they got some women involved with it.
Okay. Were you a member or anything?
I don't know if you could call me a member. I was a kid when I was growing up through it, but I was involved with them to the point where I'd march with them and stuff like that when I was like 13, 14 years old, not realizing myself what this was actually doing.
Where did you march with them?
We went to... It was an anti-nuclear demonstration in Washington, D.C.
Who's paying your expenses?
I don't know.
Would they just hand you a ticket and say, here it is? Or?
Well, no, they wouldn't hand me a ticket. They'd come and they'd pick me up. They'd have somebody pick me up every time. They wouldn't never send me alone. No, they didn't do it alone. I mean, I had to have somebody with me when I...
Because you were a young boy, huh?
Well, not because I was young. I mean, yeah, that's the thing about it. I had to have somebody with me, and yet I should have all rights to do whatever I want anytime I want to, but they just wanted me for the sex. They didn't want to let me run around on my own. I had to be protected still.
Yeah.
But they didn't realize it protected from them. list of everything I did with them. In fact, I had one marked Nambo.
We can cover that later. I'll make a note.
But yeah, an anti-nuclear demonstration I was at. They started in December of 1978. That's where they had their meeting at.
We had to, that was the conclusion of tape 1. We're on tape 2, beginning of tape 2. We had to change locations because of conflict of schedule and other meetings that were scheduled at the other location. Anyway, Paul, come on back over here. Let's continue with your list here, Paul.
Okay. I was at David Thorstad. I was talking about some of the dates that we got a better location now. We got the ocean. The bathroom.
Water pipes, yeah.
The bathroom is right there upstairs. Oh, I'll go anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw my David Thorstad, and it's like it was December 2nd, 1978, that they had a meeting out in
Who's they?
Nambla.
Continue with that. Oh, once you're going to talk about Nambla? Okay, we're talking about
I was
Nambla.
talking about David Thorstad and how
Right, okay.
I was how I met him.
You're looking at your calendar there.
And I have kind of marked. It's kind of weird how I mark things. I don't put anything except for.
Will that take it there? Yeah.
I'll have to get it close up on the head. It's like I don't know how I even remember they like it marking thing. They just got Nambla written there. That's when they formed Nambla, when they actually formed it.
What was the date on that again?
December 2nd, 1978.
Were you there?
Yeah.
When they formed
Boston
Nambla?
Church.
Huh?
It was in the Boston Church, yeah.
Remember the name of the church?
I got the name of it somewhere, but I have to think of it right now. Boston Community Church or something like that.
Who was there when they formed it?
David Thorstad, a couple of the guys that they became the steering members later on and stuff. I'm not exactly sure who was all there. I know David Thorstad was the main one there. I believe Andretti was there. Andrea, I think it's Andrea. He was a kind of a kid at the time, so Bill Andrea. And several other guys that were there also. I'm not sure exactly.
How many people were there?
Probably 1 to 2 dozen.
Where were they from?
Mainly from Boston. They used to be called the Boston Boise Committee, and then they changed them to become
Boston what committee?
Boise.
Boise, okay.
B-O-I-S-E.
Okay.
I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you can't look at that television and say, nothing happened